test anybody's microphone?
Already tested. I already know you're talking to me.
I was talking about Dave because he's doing something different. Man.
I already know you're talking to me. Tested and ready to go.
Tested already. Well done, sir. I'm happy about that.
Wait a second. Before we go, I need a refresher on our giveaway. So the giveaway is best video game character still.
Best video game character that the best video game character.
Oh gosh,
wait, no, I went too early.
We are on YouTube. We are live. Yeah, you're too early for that bit. You dingleberry. So we've gotten 0 best video game characters. So either we got 0 listens last week, or nobody cares to tell us a character in a like to type. What, 20 letters max?
It's probably because I wasn't on the podcast last week.
Maybe they couldn't hear it because it wasn't coming from you.
Hey, I have an idea for our show where we actually are going to give away the PS4. We should also make a bonus entry possible live during the show. And if they come on YouTube, and it's only available to people that jump on YouTube, and can actually, we'll give them, how do we give them a number without giving them one of our numbers? I was going to say they could call in, and we could record them on the podcast, and people could call, but then they'd have to have
so we could give them
they'd have to have Chad's phone number.
Yeah, which that might be okay.
Not mine or Josh's.
I mean, we could give them the link to the YouTube.
You can. I mean, there's Google numbers. You can hide your real phone number behind a Google number. I don't think you have to pay for it.
You can research that. Why don't you look in?
I'm not sure I want them all to be on the actual video. I just like more for the audio for people to listen to after. I thought we'd make good audio.
Sure. All right.
I don't know. I don't know what to
talk about it. Well, for this week, we'll just get it going. Thanks for color coding the outline, Dave. That's
I jumped in here. I was like, so many colors.
Can you tell that I've not been playing video games? I've got so much more time to do random stuff.
Now that makes sense. That makes way more sense.
He's just coloring all the Nintendo stuff red, all the PlayStation stuff blue, all the Xbox stuff green. So he made his own little game.
Zelda's like a nice hunter green.
Yeah, I made a hunter green accent version.
Like a nice different shade.
I was kind of got lazy with my name being the same color as Mega Man Legacy Collection 2.
Well, at that point. Yeah. All right, let's start the audio.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 129 of I Just Checked the Papers. It's the best podcast on the internet. It's official.
This just
in? Right. Yeah, here. There we go. There there.
Chad has paper. It's got to be true.
Best podcast.
Brought to you by the Carter
South
Herald.
Dakota Gamer Podcast. Yeah, exactly.
Written by his son.
Those voices you're hearing are the Lone Star Man himself, Dave Mann.
Look out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And the brother from another mother, Josh Owens. How's your mom doing, Josh?
She's great.
She told me
last time I spoke with her. Well, Dave, you didn't call her after the lobster dinner.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually call what we do. Calling
the Texas.
It's more
the Texas steak.
It's more texting. It rhymes with texting, but it's not texting.
All right. Well, welcome back, Dave, to the podcast. We missed him. He was doing all the moving to the Lone Star State last week, and he is there, has joined us again, and obviously Josh is here with us as always. We're going to jump right into this podcast. Dave,
yeah,
I think you have some shocking information, I'm sure, to share with us here.
Really? Josh?
I'm guessing.
I've got something specifically for Josh. Chad already knows about this.
Wait, you have news for me?
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this.
Oh, hit me with it. Okay, I'm excited.
We're doing a giveaway.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, giveaways are fun.
Yeah, and guess what we're giving away?
Okay, so we're probably giving away like some comic books or like a T-shirt or maybe like a cool South Dakota Gamer phone case or something like that. Did I not? I haven't hit it yet, have I?
Yeah, why don't you keep going, see if you get it.
Okay, let's see. Maybe are we giving away a video game? We've done that before, I think. A PSN subscription or Xbox games with gold?
No,
closer.
Done that already.
No? Okay.
Warmer.
I think I'm out of guesses. I can't
We're
imagine
giving
what
away
would
a lot of
be
guesses.
none of those things.
We're giving away a PlayStation 4.
Wait, what?
Yes.
No,
That's right.
No.
A
Hang on,
PlayStation
wait.
4.
We're a whole not just like a box or a picture of a PlayStation 4. Like a real one that you could put
Correct.
you could play, you connect it to your TV and you play games on?
Yes, that is correct.
That's
and
insane.
to make sure you're certain of this, it is the 4th generation. We're not giving away a PlayStation or PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3.
So we're not giving away 2 PlayStation 2s.
No, it is a
good.
current, or 2 PlayStation 1s, or 4 PlayStations.
4 PlayStation 1s.
It is a
Well, that's
PlayStation
insane. Hang on.
4.
Okay, so
getting better every week.
If we're giving away a PlayStation 4, I'm assuming people are going to have to like buy like $20 raffle tickets, or
They don't have to pay any money. Now,
now you're just talking crazy talk.
I will say this. I'm going to give you a monthly method of entry into this giveaway. But there is a entry method that is the same every single month. And you don't have to do this, but if you want to, you can go over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer and give us a minimum of $1. Is that a minimum of $1? Can they give us like a cent?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think $1 is the minimum amount.
Let's go ahead and be safe and set the minimum at $1, okay?
I think that's a good idea.
Because I know there's people out there. All of a sudden, all our pledges go to a cent.
So, Dave, I could automatically get an entry every month if I just give $1 via Patreon to South Dakota Gamer.
Correct. And right now, it is the month of August. So you've got August, September, October, November. $4 could get you 4 entries into the giveaway.
So I can get a PlayStation 4 for $4?
Possibly.
Oh, man.
Possibly. But this month, specifically, all you got to do, and from what I understand, no one's done this yet, and I'm kind of contributing to the fact that I wasn't on the podcast last week. But all you got to do is message us, text us, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook, however you want to do it. Give us your best video game character. Who do you think, out of all video gamedom, is the best video game character?
So, Dave, you're saying that in order to enter, there's literally no wrong answer. Somebody could just send us any video game character they want, and
you can say literally say the wrong answer.
Much to my chagrin, Chad included things that were not even characters. They were just inanimate objects, like the question block. So it's really just up in the air as far if it's.
I like how Dave just pretended I didn't even say that, but that's fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy.
If you want to say your favorite video game character is the analog stick off of your controller, I guess it just doesn't even matter. Just send us something that has to do with video games. And at the end, what we will do is we will tally those up for no other specific reason than to tell you who got the most votes, and that will have nothing to do with the giveaway. It'll just be fun to do at the end of the month. But, yeah, so there you go. Give us your best video game character, and you'll get an entry into the giveaway. Also, like we said, you can do it on Patreon. That'll get you a maximum of 2 entries this month, if you so choose to do so.
Well, I think it's crazy, but I guess we're crazy kids, and we're doing it.
Also,
we are 3 wild and crazy guys.
Also, before we get into the show, guys, I do have to say, I feel like I'm not being my normal self tonight, and that's because I'm in unique situation this evening as far as my podcasting environment. And there are people that could literally, I don't know, but they could literally be within feet of me right now on all sides. And there's people sleeping around, and there's people whatever. So if you hear people talking, or if you hear, plumbing in the walls, I'm sorry. And I'm also
your temporary living situation.
I'm also not going to be yelling. I'm not going to be yelling that much on this podcast. So I'm sorry, people.
Okay, well, that's what people come for. So
it's not wrong. It's not wrong. All right. Well, thank you for that intro and giveaway, Dave. We appreciate it. Glad to have you back. Let's jump right into what we've been playing lately. I will start us off. I haven't been playing a ton because I don't know. I've done this before.
Really?
But you get in those
2 items on your list, Chad.
Right. And one of them I just did yesterday for the first time. But as I was beginning to say, you ever been in a funk where you just don't, like, you open the PlayStation or the Xbox and you got literally hundreds of games and you're just like, nothing. None of them are like, I don't want to play any of them. And there's a lot that I haven't beat.
Mhm.
There's a lot that I enjoy, but I'm just like not motivated.
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
I mean, let's get that open. It's really small and close space, the audio. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, Chad,
But
you're a very good podcast editor. You can edit out anything you don't want in the show.
Fair. People love it. When you eat on podcasts, one of the best things people love about podcasts is food being
good
eaten.
ASMR.
Yeah. So that's kind of happened to me last week. As we got done with the podcast, it was a little bit shorter because it was just Josh and I sat down and Dave was traveling, so we didn't have any, multiplayer game planned. There's a couple Steel Boys playing Overwatch, but not a ton of them. And then I just kind of looked. I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to play. Nothing really caught my fancy. I ended up watching TV and doing some other things. But I decided since then that I'm going to try to platinum Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Really?
Yes. And I've finished 2 of the 4 factions or, little whatever that are set up under the main guy in the drug cartel. And if you played Wildlands, which we have and we've talked about before, there is a lot in that game. There's a ton to do. And I feel like I've got like 2 weeks before the next Uncharted game is out, which is probably the next big one that I'm kind of looking forward to. And so I got 2 weeks to do that. And I put a lot of time into it here this last week. And like I said, finished up 2 of the cartel kind of mini bosses. And we'll see how far I get. So I've been playing a lot of that, and they have updated it quite a bit. It's a lot easier to fly planes and helicopters. The controls are a lot better. The shooting feels a little bit better as well. Like it feels tighter. So I know they've done some updates and things, and it feels good. I enjoy it. So, and surprisingly, Dave, weird thing, playing by myself, you get 3 obviously AI characters. Not one of them has gotten in a bulldozer and run me off the road or throwing fire at me. Not one the whole time. It's real strange. I'm like getting a lot more accomplished.
Well, it's weird.
It's real weird. So, yeah, different type of fun. Probably.
So you're gonna platinum that in 2 weeks. That's your goal.
I'm gonna try to. Yeah, my nephew Hunter, who he's a friend of the podcast, he tried to do it as well and had some trophies glitch on him. And the point where he collected all this type of one collectible and the trophy didn't pop for him.
Oh, no.
So I've been talking with him on which ones those were. I don't know if he's gone back in and tried to load and see if anything is different. But that's a little worrisome. But I think I'm going to give it a go anyways. And if I don't do it in 2 weeks, I think I'll have the story beat for sure. Then I'll just kind of be going back and get all the extra things. And if I don't do that, then I'll just make it next to my list whenever I get to it. So, because the end of August starts the tidal wave of new releases for this fall, and it's a busy August, September, October, November coming up. So we'll see how that goes. And then yesterday I was on the Switch, went to bed a little early, just kind of laying there, and I'm going through the Switch like, I really need I'd like a nice platformer. Right, just like something fun, something simple, nothing too complicated. And I was looking through it, and I found this game called Wonder Boy, which apparently was an arcade game back in the mid '80s, and then Sega ported it over to their Genesis and their Master System.
Okay, so I'm not crazy because I felt like I recognized the name, and I feel like I could probably visualize the actual game too.
Yeah, it's an old school platformer, and it's redone. It's one of those ones where you can hit the button and you can see the 8-bit graphics, or you can see the current version of it. And it's all hand-drawn animation now, and it looks fantastic. And basically, you're a knight. It reminds me a little bit of Shovel Knight, but again, different graphics as hand drawn. But it's got that feel to it where you're a knight, and the idea, the first thing you do is you go to this dragon. You're supposed to kill this dragon in this castle, but when you get there, the dragon curses you and turns you into a lizard. And so now you're a lizard that breathes fire, and you've got to figure out how to break that curse. And from what I understand, there's like 4 or 5 different kinds of areas, and you're either a dragon, you're a lion with a sword, you can be a hawk. I think you're also like a fish or a squid. Like there's different forms that you take on depending on where you're at. There's shops that you can go to buy health, to buy potions, to buy better armor, better weapons. And there's nothing too complicated about it. It's very simple, but it looks fantastic, and it's been enjoyable. So I played that last night a little bit, and then a little bit before the podcast I was playing through that, and it's a lot of fun.
I totally remember that game.
I just haven't bit the bullet on it. I thought about getting it though.
I'm looking at like images right now. I totally remember playing this game, and I don't think I've thought of it for like a couple decades.
I'd never heard of it, being not a Sega kid, and not really doing the arcade thing. But from what I understand, it's a well remembered game. People like it. They look fondly upon it, and I'm liking. I really like the art style, the new look. It's really gorgeous. So
very cool.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying that. If you need a nice little platformer, I highly recommend Wonder Boy so far. I'm real early into it. I probably played an hour and a half is all, but I'm having a good time with it. So those are the 2 games I played this past week. Josh, how about you?
Well, speaking of very simple platformers, just nothing too complicated, just very easy and just kind of pick up and play and do your thing. Salt and Sanctuary is just great. It's wonderful. It's the best.
You played that you talked about last week, and then before the podcast, you're telling me you really think that I should get this and I would enjoy it.
I actually do. So I think Dave would like it too. I think anybody that is a fan of like Metroidvania type games, or what? Oh, you're laughing at what's happening on here. If you're not
screen watching,
if you're not watching the YouTube video, you're missing out on some gold. So I think anybody that's a fan of like Metroidvania type games and like that old school like feel of like side scrollers, I think potentially would enjoy it. I think the 2 of you for sure would. But it's basically a side scrolling Souls game. They've pretty much made no bones about the fact that that's what they were going for. And they pretty much nailed it. I was saying before the podcast, I don't think it's as hard as a Souls game, but it's definitely as unforgiving as a Souls game. With the exception that there are what's called sanctuaries in the game, where like they're basically safe havens, like checkpoints. You go and you can like that's where you level up and things like that. So like in Bloodborne, for example, it was the Hunter's Rest, I think they called it. Like it was like this alternate area that you would go and like do all that stuff, and then you go back to wherever you were, the area you're working on.
Right.
So it's like that, but there's a sanctuary in every new area that you go to, and you can like level up and you're safe there, and you can refill your health potions and all that stuff. But as far as like the gameplay goes and like losing your experience points and all that stuff, it's pretty unforgiving in that way, but it's not as hard, I don't think. So I beat it this week. I felt like I was a decent way into the story last week. I ended up beating it this past week. It's really, really good. And I started a new game plus because it's that good. And I kind of want to play through it again. There was a couple like secrets and story points that I didn't get in my first playthrough. There's like a few different ways the story can go.
Are there multiple endings, or is it?
I think so, because like I don't think it's spoilers because it's on the trophy list, but like there apparently like so the whole game takes place on an island. Apparently you can escape the island. In one of the endings, you can become the new lord of the island in one of the endings.
Okay.
So there's like a couple different ways it can end, and there's a few different storylines and trophies related to those storylines that you can progress or you can miss. So I missed a couple of those. So like I kind of want to platinum it because I'm not too far away from doing it. And it doesn't seem like a super hard platinum if you just like play it with a guide or something.
Right.
And it's really, really good. It's enjoyable enough, I think, to play again. The level of complexity that they've been able to like condense in this simple looking side scroller is incredible. It's really good. So I beat that. And then I also, because I was still kind of hankering for like a Souls type game, but for some reason I haven't jumped back into Dark Souls 2, which I'm still in the middle of.
But not the actual
Right.
game. I want a game like
I don't
it,
know
but
what
not-
my deal is. Like I even thought to myself, I was like, I could
I'm
just
with you. I
jump
hear
back
you.
into Dark Souls. I don't know why I didn't do it. But like I had played Lords of the Fallen like a long time ago. Like I started playing it when it was a
Remember
free
that?
PlayStation Plus game.
Yep.
And like fell off of it for a while. So I jumped back in, and it's way slower and heavier than Dark Souls or Bloodborne or like
I'd say Bloodborne's always
Bloodborne
looked
is
at as a
super fast.
faster Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Right.
Dark Souls is like kind of a medium speed, but then like you get into Lords of the Fallen, it's so slow and like just very laborious. Like it was hard to get used to. And it actually almost like maybe bounce right off of it again, but I stuck with it. The story's pretty good actually. So I was playing that and like I was getting more and more into it. I was like, man, this is really good. And then just kind of before I knew it, I was at the end of the game. And so I ended up beating Lords of the Fallen too.
Almost accidentally.
Yeah, like, and again, so like when I beat Salt and Sanctuary, by the end of the game, the last like 3 bosses I fought, I felt like I was a little overpowered for what the game was really intending for you to be when you fight those bosses. Like I had like a super upgraded weapon, and like my stats were super, super high. So the last few fights weren't too hard. The last few fights in Lords of the Fallen were fairly hard, but not crazy hard. Not as hard as I would expect them to be for like the end of one of these types of games. Like Bloodborne was crazy hard, like crazy hard. So like I beat it, and I tried. I was playing it last night, like trying to beat the boss, and I couldn't get it. I knew what I had to do to beat him. Like I had the system down, I just couldn't execute it correctly. So like I died, and I was like, forget it. Like I just went to bed last night, and then today, like in the few minutes we had, like before we jumped on the podcast, I jumped in and ended up beating it. But
that's cool.
it's really, really good, and there's apparently a couple different endings you can do with Lords of the Fallen too. I'm not sure that I liked it enough to like jump back in and do the other endings, so I may not end up platinuming that one, but I think it's definitely worth at least one playthrough if you enjoy this.
Check it off the list though, right? Like done,
finished.
Yeah,
and it's so like I can, I've had it on my system for forever, so I can take it off my system and just leave it in my library now and like free up some space. But
cool.
It's really, really good. So between those two, those kept me busy all week, but I feel sort of accomplished because I beat 2 games.
Yeah, no, for sure. Awesome. I have one more question for you.
Okay.
What's the temperature in your house right now?
I am not sure. Why? Do you see me sweating?
Is it comfortable or not comfortable?
I'm a little hot.
Yeah. I'm not saying. I'm with you. The cooler, the better. In my house is what I say.
I mean, to be fair, I'm always hot. I'm always very, very warm. So in order for me to be comfortable, it's got to be like sort of frigid, I guess, for everyone else.
I'd say under 70 for sure.
Oh,
70 is warm.
Yeah, 70 is I think too warm.
Yeah.
Cecilia very much disagrees.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Cecilia. You're wrong.
I'll tell you. So this is a little aside, but in our we wrote parts of our own wedding vows, and then we did like half and half, like half traditional, half we wrote them.
Yeah.
So in the part of the wedding vows that I wrote, I vowed to sometimes give her a break from the air conditioning.
Wow, that made it to the vow.
Yeah, and
that
was a mistake.
I'm realizing now that it was a mistake. You're right, but I made a promise till death do us part, and so I'm gonna try to keep it.
All right. Well, there's no specifics on how often it has to be.
No, but so. I feel like it's more rare that I leave the air conditioning on.
I mean, winter. You're in Chicago. Winter's coming soon.
That's
Tell you what, turn the air conditioning off.
Yeah,
just turn it off.
That'll be great.
There you go, Cecilia. You're welcome.
So yeah, that's what's happening right now. I'm sweating a little bit, but
awesome.
It's for a good cause.
It's for good cause. All right, Dave.
Yeah.
Tell me about all the video games you've been playing.
Oh, so I do need to
moving your
I do
life.
need to insert this here. Cecilia wants me to just remember that she said may the force be with us in her wedding vows.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Kind of even trade. She's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's fair enough.
She won that one. I'm gonna be honest.
So
very
kudos
nice.
to you.
Very nice.
Right.
All right, Dave, tell me about your moving video games and all the times you've played games while you were moving your life.
Okay, guys. Well, since I've moved, I've played 2 video games, which is the same amount as Chad has.
Real life Tetris.
And Josh. So
real gamers.
The situation that I'm in right now is that I don't have a normal ideal situation. So I have no internet that is worthy of playing games on, number one. So that has created a problem for me because a lot, we're in 2017, a lot of our games require some type of internet activity, not to mention the fact that Chad and I game share.
Right.
So any games that I personally have bought, since my PSN account, my active console is Chad's active console, I need to have internet access so I can verify the licenses that I own these games, or I can't play them. Now, it seems like the internet has been able to do that at least, but when I tested the internet, it was not even pulling 1 megabyte of download speed, which was making anything very hard to do. For example, when I started up Overwatch, I can't even connect to the game at all.
That's crazy.
So I can't even connect to it. So with that said, I've been playing one game particularly that didn't require much of that, and that was Axiom Verge, which I've had for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool little Metroidvania style game. And I played it a couple different times, sat down to play it, and didn't get far enough because you really got to put some time into it. It's got a really good map, and it's very much like Super Metroid is what it's like to me. And I'm enjoying it. I've played it for a while, and I've got several different types of weapons that you can use, several different types of different powers that you can use. You can morph through walls. You can you shoot out a little drone that you can control to get into kind of like the spaces where Samus would have had to roll into a ball to get once you learn that power. You've got a drone that can do that for you. So it's really cool. I'm enjoying it very much. So I suggest, talking about platformers, we've all talked about platformers. So that was a cool one. One little note that I wanted to mention is I had my Switch when I was going to get my car tested for emissions here in Texas. I sat down at Bridgestone when they were doing the test, pulled out my Switch. I was going to play a little bit of Zelda. And I wanted to upload a screenshot. So I'm like, well, they have Wi-Fi here. I'll connect to it. Well, I connected to it. And lo and behold, you needed to register to access it. It wasn't just a completely open thing. So I'm thinking, okay, it's not going to work because it popped up and said, you need to register to access the internet. I was like, okay, so it'll back out and I won't be able to do it. All of a sudden, a web browser opens on my Switch. And I'm looking at the actual landing page for Bridgestone on my Switch to where you navigate and you type in your email and everything and register, and they'll connect you to the internet, which made me think because obviously when you get the Switch, there's no web app. Yeah, and I would imagine, being Nintendo and we're protecting the kids and everything, that they're not going to have something like that on there. But it just goes to show that the Switch obviously is capable of browsing the internet, because I was on an actual web page. I thought that was interesting. As soon as I registered for it, it kicked me right out of the web page back into the game. So I didn't really navigate or anything like that, but it was interesting. But my biggest story, my biggest thing that happened to me is not a happy story, Chad and Josh.
No, it's tragic.
So any of you who are PS4 owners, and I don't really remember the Xbox doing this. I'm sure it probably does do this, but I've had less issues with the Xbox. The PS4, if you ever do not turn it off properly, it acts like you just broke the internet.
Beeps at
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
It acts like you've created the worst error that you could create on any type of electronic device, and that it's going to huge problems are going to happen to you. And every time I see that, I just push the little button OK, and it starts up fine, like nothing's wrong. So going into this move, that must have happened. My PS4 must have been in either standby or something, and the TV was off. But I unplugged it, packed it up, moved, to Texas. It sat in the car for a day in a box. I mean, it was hot, but it was in a box. It wasn't in direct sunlight. And I get it out. I plug it up at my girlfriend's house, and I plug it on the TV. I'm like, I'm going to play some games today. I got some time. So I start it, and it says I forgot what the screen was, but it said something like a critical error. It was a different screen that usually comes up if it's not unplugged right.
Right.
And it says you've encountered a critical error, and it went into like what I can only explain as to, I mean, nowadays, like younger kids might not even know what this is, but the safe mode on computers and stuff, when it doesn't boot up normal, and you have to go into either DOS or something to get it to start normal. So my PS4 was in this mode, and it gave me a few options. Without looking at the picture, I can't remember what they are, but several of them were either to reformat the whole PS4, which means you lose everything on it, or to download some type of all of this extra stuff from something which I needed an internet connection for, but also it wasn't a good option. It wasn't just, if you have the internet connection, it would have fixed everything. That wouldn't have fixed it. It was still a bad option. Third option was like to reset all of the settings to default, which wouldn't erase everything, but would just set the settings. So I'd have to re-sign in everything. I'd have to change my if I had music off or whatever, that kind of stuff I had to change. So I'm like, that seems like the best option to take. I also Googled it before I did anything to find out, and just about everybody that I saw that had this problem said that they did this and it worked. Well, something that I wasn't prepared for that they all also said was, yeah, and then after that, all you do is you download all your saves, and you've got them all.
Oh, no.
So I did that. I go in, all my games are there, everything looks fine. I go in to download my saves, there's no saves to download. I look in the cloud, there's no saves anywhere, for any game, any cloud, anything. I go to my settings, I go to the option where it says automatically upload to the cloud, it's not selected. Why is this not selected? And I look, and it says if this is not your active console, you cannot set it to automatically upload to the cloud. So unless you manually upload all your saves to the cloud, if your saves get erased off your PS4, they're erased off your PS4 and you lose them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
So every single game that I owned that had a saved game on it has been reset to like I never played the game. That includes like Uncharted 4. That includes The Last of Us. Games that
you platinum that.
Yeah, well, I got the platinum for both of them, but I can't. If I want to enjoy the game again, I want to go play this mission. Can't do it. Got to start from the beginning. Now that does pose a challenge for The Last of Us to go through the grounded difficulty.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, I'm going to do that before the second one comes out. But the point is, I'm very, very upset. And there should be, in my mind, some type of failsafe for this on the PS4. Now, as we know, Sony is notorious for some very weird decisions. Not nearly as weird as Nintendo, but some weird decisions. I don't know if it, I mean, you might want to ask Cecilia if maybe over there in the Asia part of the world, they just do weird stuff with their electronics. I don't know.
Let's do that. Let's do that, Dave. Good idea.
Let's
I
do
feel
it
like I'm gonna not do that.
Fair. Yeah, that's probably wise.
So
Probably very wise.
So anyways, so what I feel like, okay.
Why do you think that happened?
If your Xbox or your PlayStation 4, I feel like they could put something in there. Like, let's say just a small battery. Now, again, I don't know how all this stuff's made. I don't know how the hardware works. But imagine if you put a battery in there that's somehow designed just to have enough charge in it to where if the power gets ripped, if the power goes out, for example, because there's sometimes where you lose they set these PlayStations up to suggest that you put it in standby. They almost suggest that you just put it in standby. Yeah. And a lot of people do that. Well, if the power goes, because I've done it before, I come home after the weekend, power went out, your system wasn't shut down properly. What if that would have happened then? Like in the middle of one of my big giant playthroughs. Like if there was just a battery or something in there that had just enough charge or whatever and was designed specifically to, if the power gets cut, it goes through the proper shutdown sequence, which if you do it on your console yourself, it only takes, 10 seconds, 15 seconds to do that?
Yeah, if that.
Right.
And it's done. I mean, you think that they would have some type of fail-safe for that very reason, especially if it could be catastrophic to where you could lose everything on your system.
Yeah.
Or your saves or whatever. And so and here's the deal too. I'm kind of going crazy because I don't have proper internet connection, because there's games like, for example, like I mentioned, Overwatch, to where, as far as I know, my save should all be on a server. So I would think that any, like for example, Call of Duties or Battlefield, I would believe that any profile that is saved, I'm even hoping that Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, I think would probably be like that, or Destiny, or Division. Games like that to where they save on a server to where it wouldn't be affected. But for example, I know that, what was it? Diablo 3. Now, Diablo 3 is a unique kind of situation because it's not an online player. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Whereas Overwatch, you have to play the multiplayer online. With Battlefield, you have to play the multiplayer online. So, and it's the same thing with Ghost Recon and everything. It's got to be online to play the multiplayer. I think even to play, can you play Ghost Recon without?
I don't know. I've never tried. I mean, you could play alone, but I don't know if you can be disconnected from the server and play. That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I could be wrong, but anyways, so I haven't been able to get in there. I'm assuming those are all good, but I have to re-download. I also have to download all of the updates. All of the updates for all the games that I have, they were erased, so I have to re-download all those updates. So every time I click on a game, here's a 20 gig update you have to do for this game.
That's insane.
And I haven't even got to do that yet because I haven't had proper internet connection. So
far, Texas, you're not
man. I'm
impressed.
I've been very out of my element recently because I like to play video games and I haven't been able to. So
like literally, wow.
Yeah, so it's been very.
That's scary. So so upload your saves to the cloud, guys. If you have a PS Plus subscription, you got 10 gigs of free space. Just every once in a while, upload some of those games.
Yeah, if your console is your active console, you can go into settings and make sure that it's set to automatically upload your saves to the cloud. You won't have to worry about it then, because it's their server or whatever, and it's
backup
protected against that. Your PS4 could fall out the window into a pool of lava, and you would still be able to get your saves.
Yes, Darth Vader, that could happen.
Yeah. So your PS4 could try to take the high ground and lose, and you'd still have your saves.
My Witcher 3 save.
So.
Well, that is a terrible, terrible, tragic story, Dave.
That's like,
and hopefully you learn something, people, from this.
That's like, it's not as bad as the PS4 just like pooping out and being dead, but it's like the next.
Yeah,
it's like the next thing.
Yep. Yeah, pretty close.
Oh, it's terrible.
Dang. All right, so PSA, learn from Dave's pain.
Let's look at it this way. It wouldn't even have been as bad if I turned it on and everything was erased off of it, as long as I could have re-downloaded the games and had my save still.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very frustrating. I mean, so yeah. I mean, I guess some of those that I already mentioned were some of the biggest games that were affected by that. But for example, Josh, Prey. Forget the platinum. Forget the platinum on Prey.
To start all over.
Dude, okay, so I know I've seen this talked about before, but I believe there are websites where you can go and download other people's saves. Because I've seen
really?
people on boards asking questions about like certain portions of games, and people are like, "Well, upload your save. I'll download it, play through it, and then upload it for you to re-download and then like play on from there." Like I've seen people talk about that. I don't know how complicated it is or how I don't know how dangerous it is either, but I feel like that is an option.
Yeah, it would make sense because you can transfer your saves to a USB, and then you could put it in your computer and then technically upload it to the internet or whatever, Dropbox, whatever.
Yeah,
and do it that way.
I feel like that might be an option though for some of those.
Never thought of that. It would be interesting. I wonder if those saves will just work even if it's not the same PSN.
I mean, from what I've seen, because it's only tied to the game. It's only like game progress. The save. So like people have literally, like I've seen, playing Salt and Sanctuary or like a couple of these other games, people have uploaded their save to whatever website or wherever, like shared their save with somebody else. That person downloads it, plays past the part this person can't get past, re-uploads the save.
Interesting.
And then, the original person downloads it and just plays on.
Huh.
That is something I have to look at.
Yeah, so worth looking into. All right. The tragic story of Dave.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Bummer, dude.
Almost as bad as Darth Plagueis the Wise, but not quite as tragic.
No. Not quite as tragic as that.
All right.
If you're rating tragedies, just
who knows? Who knows?
On
Wikipedia it might say it's more tragic. I don't know.
Yeah, which makes it true. Makes it true. All right, well, let's move right.
No, what makes it true is if you just say it's on there, whether it is or not. If Chad says it, it is. Forget Wikipedia. If Chad says it, it's true.
Brought to us by Patreon supporter, good friend Paco.
Wait, we got it.
Paco.
And First-Hand Supply. Dip the world in it.
Dip the world in it. Wait, we didn't thank Papa Andy for...
Yeah. Well, I say we could move him down to the next...
First. Oh, okay, all right.
So thank you, Paco, and First-Hand Supply, which you can now buy candles on First-Hand Supply, along with your beard oils and pomades and all the wonderful smelling manly things that they sell. I highly recommend.
Environmentally conscious soy candles even.
That's right. That's right. All right, so the news that you can use this week brings us a handful of wonderful tidbits, some of them small, some of them large. First off, SNES Classics. We talked about last week how Dave and I both lost our pre-orders. Dave is still going at it with Walmart. If you don't follow Dave on Twitter, you need to follow Dave on Twitter because he does not hold back. When big corporations send him nice emails asking him to do other things, he just says, no, did you forget about this garbage that happened? And I think they just ignore the fact that happened. But they did announce. Nintendo did announce this past week that they will officially go up for pre-order late August. So another 3 weeks or so, and you will be able to officially order them where they will not be canceled. They reiterated the fact that there are going to be more available than there were of the NES Classics. So I've heard some hopeful media people say then they feel like maybe we won't have the same type issue. We'll see. I don't know if I buy that. But that is thing that's happening. More Nintendo stuff. All right. Sure, so Nintendo announced, or the rumor is that they're going to be getting this mystery AAA game port to the Switch. So a big game, AAA title, already out, been out, who knows how long, but supposedly they're porting a big game, popular game, to the Switch. So I wanted to ask the two of you, myself as well, so that'd be 3, because that's what happens. You add 1 to 2. What do we think this port could be? Maybe what you'd want it to be, but what do you think it actually will be? If they're going to port a AAA game to the Nintendo Switch that's already out, what game is that going to be? Any guesses, Josh?
Well, I know... So just gauging on what we know of its capabilities, we know that it's capable of running Skyrim and games like that. So just sticking with Bethesda, I'm gonna guess Fallout
Ooh, that would be huge.
4.
Really?
Wow, that would be huge. That I mean, it makes sense if they can run Skyrim. Man, that would be a big deal for them. I feel like. Good guess, Dave.
I mean, don't we know that the developer is who the developer is?
If we do, I'm not aware of it, but
I think it's
do we?
I'm pretty sure it's Virtuous, and they are because the article that I'm reading, I read this a couple days ago. And this one right here is 5 days. It's on a website called Nintendo Life. It says Virtuous is working on porting a AAA game to the Nintendo Switch. What could it be?
What does Virtuous make?
And then it says Virtuous is a studio that works primarily with porting popular games to new consoles and has Batman Return to Arkham, Assassin's Creed: The Ezio Collection, Final Fantasy 12, 12, The Zodiac Age, and several other high-profile games to its name.
Oh, yeah. Injustice, Gods Among Us, Heavy Rain.
So they haven't done one developer specifically. They've just that's what they do is they port games to other. So do we think it's? Are they saying it's one of these games that's already been done?
I don't
possibly or
not necessarily. Those are just some of the games that they've done. But just by looking at that, I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the Arkham games, or even if it was that collection. Because they have
already even been ported. That would make sense too.
Yes, because they have been making money hand over fist on the Arkham games. Rocksteady has for a while, and I mean we've got all of them except for who did
Origins.
Yeah, who did Origins?
It was WB Montreal. I think it wasn't Rocksteady, but I can't
was
remember
that considered a AAA game?
Yeah, totally.
They all were, yeah.
But see, because that one's still missing. I kind of would like to play through that again. I know you didn't really like it as much as
it didn't have the same feel, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It wasn't as good.
They just act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, they just don't mention it because it wasn't made by them. But
I wouldn't be surprised at that. But the thing I think about is, and Nintendo's kind of throwing some curveballs here with the whole. I mean, they still stick with their gimmicky stuff, and so far with the Switch, it's been paying off, hugely, big league. So yes, but the games like Skyrim, for example, don't necessarily fit in that. I mean, we've had, I guess, even going back to like the Wii, or was it the Wii U that had one of the zombie games? They've been kind of moving away from that. So when I think about the Batman Arkham games, I think about violence, and I think about they had swearing and stuff in them. Skyrim, for example, has no swearing. I don't know about the Zombie U game. I heard it was awful, so I may never played it. But that would be a good AAA port. But it's not super.
Skyrim
friendly.
is that. Yeah, Skyrim definitely. You got blood in Skyrim. You're killing people.
Fallout.
People,
right,
totally.
If you want.
The game before I knew what you just said, Dave. The game I was thinking they have a really good, obviously a very good relationship with Ubisoft.
They do.
And so I thought the Ezio collection or an Assassin's Creed game of some kind would be a big deal if you got, say you got the Ezio collection, so you got 2 Brotherhood and Revelations put on the Switch, that'd be a big deal. Just like I think Fallout 4 would be a big deal, or the Batman games would be a big deal. So any one of those I think would be huge for them. I just thought because of Ubisoft and obviously all the things they've been doing with Nintendo would make sense as well. So yeah, if it'd be any of those games, I think that would be big deal.
They also this is kind of just a far out there stretch. They also don't have again, out in left field, they don't have any real racing games on there. Like they have kart games, they have that weird space kind of F-Zero style racing game.
Right.
And I know that the big racing games are exclusive for Xbox and PS4.
Right.
So maybe that's just, maybe I can't even. I mean, I don't play racing games, and I can't even really think of.
Yeah, say what would it be?
But Need for Speed, for example, is not
there. Sure,
not an exclusive.
Nope.
And it kind of makes sense in racing games with the Switch, with like motion control or whatever. I don't know how they would do that. I mean, that's just if I had to throw out a harebrained guess out there. But I think that Batman or another Bethesda game but see, to me, I just don't know if they would go for something as big as Fallout right after Skyrim. But
that's true.
they've done crazy off the wall stuff before too.
It's hard to know. And when you brought up the violence thing, that makes sense too, because they're really like even the Switch now. There's not a lot of that type violent games out there, but the Mario Odyssey game coming out here in October, is getting an E10 rating, the highest, most gruesome rating for any Mario game ever. So all the Mario games up to this point have been rated, they've been rated E for everyone, or
you're
E10
talking,
or whatever it was.
I completely misread that. Mario Odyssey, not the Mario plus Rabbids.
No, the Mario Odyssey. So the
Mario plus Rabbids
game
he has like guns and stuff. So that made sense to me when I saw that.
Yeah,
but
no, Mario Odyssey. I don't know what Mario plus Rabbids is rated, but I'm assuming it's E because the news story is that Mario Odyssey will be the first Mario game ever rated higher than an E at E10. So E10 still hot, still not it's not even T. So it's, I assume, for some mischief and cartoon violence would be my guess on the E10 rating. But it's a again, we're talking about violence in video games on the Switch. They protect the children and want to keep it nice and safe for everyone. But now we're getting E10 rating on Mario Odyssey. I don't know that there's really anything huge to read into this. I just thought it was interesting that they're putting a different rating on a Mario game for the first time ever. So maybe it's about possession. I don't know. Possessing those Goombas.
No, I've heard this argument. They call it capturing.
Yeah, capturing, right. I'm just calling it what it is, though.
His body turns into like a spirit-like state and goes into the thing. That's possessing.
Yeah, which is not right.
You're not capturing it. Capturing would be pulling it to you.
Bring it in. Right.
Capturing is what they did in Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, right. That's what the Ghostbusters do. Okay.
Yeah.
Capture.
Right.
All right, so there we go. That's some Nintendo stuff moving along. No Man's Sky. Remember that? We've actually talked about that a few times here in the last month or so. Josh still has the offer out there to be Sean Murray's bodyguard. And there's some weird stuff going on. We talked a few weeks ago about
the weirdest of all is that Sean Murray is intimidated by Tony Stark.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long way to. I mean,
he won't respond.
I don't know how to explain that on the podcast, but so Josh has kind of been following this a little bit more. And when I brought it up a few weeks ago, I think it sparked Josh's interest. And I know we looked into it. We talked a little bit about this game that they were putting some stuff in, and then I kind of fell off it. But then some weird stuff came up here just recently, right, Josh?
Yeah. So we talked about the ARG a couple weeks ago. I looked into it. And then the next day I was looking at it a little more, but the problem with these things is if you're not in it from like day one, it gets so far out of hand. Like there's no way for me to catch up on everything now.
Yeah, sure.
I have no clue what's going on. So I kind of like left it alone. And then Chad like texted in our group thread that there was like some crazy live stream going on Twitch from a channel called Waking Atlas, which is apparently the name of this ARG that's been going on. Sorry, Waking Titan, not Waking Atlas.
Okay.
Waking Titan, which is the name of this ARG that's been going on. So I pulled up the live stream, and when I pulled up the live stream, I think maybe it just started or something like that. Like, so it's like, I think it's like 5 computer monitors.
Right.
There's like Post-it notes like on a desk like that read just different weird random things. There's one like up on another monitor that says call JJ, and like one said, I can't remember what they all say. It's like just weird stuff. Like none of it makes sense. And all the monitors were like inactive, or they were like showing like some sort of inactive message. So I watched it for a while and nothing was really happening. And then I checked back in later and had it on for a while, and a couple of the monitors had changed, and they were reading like very cryptic stuff. And then at one point, one of the monitors had an email address on it. So I emailed the email address, and actually, let me see if I can pull up the email that I got back.
Do you know, did you happen to notice how many other people were watching the stream at the time that you were on, or the times?
I was just watching the stream from that GameSpot article, like on my phone, so I didn't see any of those stats. So I emailed this email address that was on the live stream, and I got an email back, and it says processing error, invalid input, do not reply. So that seems to imply that there was a correct input. Like if you would have emailed something like the correct thing, you could have gotten like not an error message back. But that's all I got. So then I didn't like. There's no way for me to figure out what's going on. I have no idea what the right message would have been. So I didn't try again. So I was just like checking in on it, and it kept getting like more and more weird. At one point, like there's a hamster sitting on a desk in front of these monitors, and so like at one point there was like on the main screen there was a digital hamster like going through a maze, and I'm guessing like it was like people on the live stream were like voting which direction for the hamster to go, and then the hamster was going that direction, kind of like a group play or like a crowd play thing. I didn't see the end of that, so I'm not sure if the hamster got to the like wherever it was supposed to go in the maze.
So strange.
And then there was like a couple other like random things on some of the screens and stuff like that. And now the stream is over, and I haven't seen anything come out of it, like anybody solved anything or anything like that. So who knows what's happening? But it was just super weird for like 48 hours. And then now it's done.
There's got to be a reason, right? Like it's either I speculated before we started that I wonder if there's going to be an update or something for No Man's Sky that this hinted at, and maybe people have to figure out for them to drop it. And you wonder what are they trying to do?
It's kind of cool. I mean, like even having not beaten, sorry, because I haven't gotten to the center of the universe, but having platinumed the game and done all of the story stuff that was in the game. And you as well, Chad. And Dave, you too, right? You finished it?
Yes, I did. Got the platinum.
So even having done that, like I never really felt like I totally understood what was happening in the game. Like I always felt like it was very cryptic and kind of open-ended.
Yep.
So I feel like there may be more there to like develop or reveal. So maybe that's what this has to do with. But if it is an update, like I feel it's got to be huge to go to all this trouble to tease out.
Right.
And like I was saying before the podcast, the last couple updates they've dropped have been great. Like tons and tons of content, positive changes. Like from little stuff like letting you rename your ship now to like different elements that they've added and like tweaks to the commerce and like the base building and all that stuff. It's been great. So I'm hoping if it is an update that it's soon.
It's drastic.
But I feel like it's got to be big, whatever it is.
Very strange.
Maybe it's even more story stuff. Who knows? But
yeah, we'll keep our fingers on the pulse, and if anything else comes up on it, we'll make sure to investigate and let you know. But stay tuned for Sean Murray's weirdness and what No Man's Sky is and is becoming. Next, one of the big games coming out here this fall is Middle-earth, Shadow of War. And they announced here this past week that there will be microtransactions in the game. There'll be currency that you can earn in the game and also currency that can be bought with real money. And then also loot crates. So recently, I don't know, last year or so, loot crates have become a thing in a lot of games. You've got them in Overwatch. Every time you level up, you get a loot crate. You can buy loot crates. They're now in Rocket League. You can buy keys to open loot crate, which is Josh's favorite thing in the whole wide world. There are loot crates in tons of games. There are loot llamas in Fortnite, the brand new game that just came out recently. That's right, loot llamas, where you open a llama. I
Like
don't maybe yeah, just
like
you
slice
get
it open like a
lightsaber.
tauntaun.
Yep, and there's a prize inside.
It's like a live
but loot crates
pinata.
are yeah, basically. There are lots of loot crates and microtransactions. That's not new. But so what's your guys' thoughts on loot crates in general? Like for this game specifically, it seems to be there are XP boosts. There are armors and there are things that will actually not just be cosmetic changes like Overwatch where different skins, but these are things that'll actually, again, it's a single player game, so it's not like you're getting unfair advantage against someone else.
Right.
But it'll help the game move along faster for you, maybe make it a little bit easier. What are your guys' thoughts on?
Well, your first question was loot crates in general, and with games like Overwatch and Battlefield, and I mean games that are mainly first-person shooters or shooters like that where you level up and they make sense to me in those types of games. This particular game, I have a problem with like this whole thing because number one, it doesn't need microtransactions. It just doesn't need them. Why do you need them? Number two, to me, this type of game, like a loot crate, like takes me out of the immersion of the game personally. This, I mean, from somebody who I really like the Lord of the Rings lore. I like the stories of the Lord of the Rings. I really liked the first game because it had a really good story that was not. It wasn't like out of the books, like out of the actual thing. It was a fictional story within a fictional story, but it tied into the lore of Lord of the Rings, and it made sense in that aspect. And I liked immersing myself in there and playing as Talion and playing as I think it was Celebrimbor, and seeing how that works. And so you go into this next game, and you've got those same two characters coming back for the new story, whatever it is. And to me, it doesn't, like a loot crate does not make sense in the story. And so to me, that doesn't have a place there. I mean, I guess you can kind of. It could fit in certain games. Like, for example, take The Legend of Zelda. That's a little bit more like a comic-y, gimmicky, cartoony type of thing where it's Zelda and it's a Nintendo game. And, you know, you can put a amiibo on the thing and a chest falls from the sky and then you can pick out clothes. It's a little bit different in a game like that. But in a game like this where you're supposed to be in the middle of war and you're in this deep, you know, you're with orcs and you're with elves and you're with goblins and you're with big giant stone-throwing creatures and big, you know, all kinds of different stuff, and you are winning loot crates, for what? Like to give you clothes or something? Like, it's not a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
So these obviously have to be tied to either leveling up or tied to beating certain bosses or something. Couldn't they have just figured out a better way to give you something?
Yeah, it's going to contain weapons and armor of varying rarity. These can be equipped to enhance Talion's character abilities, so they will change your abilities. These loot chests can also contain XP boosts to level Talion up faster. Then they have war chests, and the war chests give the player orc followers. So you can earn more followers through a chest versus branding them.
That doesn't fit into the story.
They also contain.
In the old game, the way they did it was you went around and you did different side missions, and as you completed the side missions, you got these special type of not runes, but they were like different type of blessings or whatever you want to call them that could go into your weapons, and they made your weapons better, or they made you able to use this special ability better. But it was a way to deliver advantages that were written into the lore of the story. Whereas you can't write a loot box into the story. And, you know, Talon's like, oh, I was battling this orc and I saved his kingdom. And then if it wasn't for that loot box I got, I got the special sword. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Like, it just seems like they could have come up with a better way. Like,
for the story, I agree. And the only way that, like, a single-player game having loot boxes and microtransactions would be acceptable to me is if all the DLC that they're doing is free. Like Titanfall. You know, everything, all the DLC packs, all the map packs.
Just before you go any further, you are talking about loot boxes or loot crates as a separate thing from the microtransactions, right? Or
they're
loot boxes, the microtransactions.
They're connected. They're connected.
So it's like Rocket League,
you can get
can't
other
open
things
them unless you pay.
No, you get them. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. That's a good question. You may get them. I think you can earn them through just playing, but then you've got to earn. You can earn currency, gold currency in the game to buy extra ones, which you can earn gold in the game, or you can pay real money for it as well. So I don't think you have to spend money to open these loot boxes.
So here's my two different things. Like my two different feelings on this are, if they are written into the game, not written into the game because they're not. If the loot boxes are just into the game without paying for them, I actually have more of an issue with that than actually only being there to pay for them. Like I said before, they don't need microtransactions. But a microtransaction that's not in the game, but that's in the menu screen before the game, to where, okay, I pay $1.99 and I can get this outfit for Italian with this sword and everything, and you just have that going into the game, and it's not like you won it because you beat, you know, Zergog the Urukai or something, and you got a loot box, which makes no sense in the lore of the Lord of the Rings to me. But if it's all pay behind a paywall, that's one thing. But then I have the whole issue, like you're saying, that DLC should be free. There's just this is when you get into all these weird things when you get into pay to play type stuff. You pay $60 for the game, you shouldn't have to pay anymore unless it's legitimate DLC.
And you're paying for a season pass if you want all this DLC as well. So you can spend, there's $100 versions of the game that come with the season pass. And then you're going to also ask people to spend microtransactions to get rare stuff. Josh,
people are getting greedy.
We've been talking a lot. Josh, what do you think? I think we probably know, but
I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I hate the idea of microtransactions in any game. I don't care if it's a multiplayer game or not. Sure, fine. If you have like a multiplayer game with loot boxes, that makes sense. Whatever, do loot boxes. Like, it's a fun little cool thing you can do in a game. But like, stop it. Don't, like, you already charged me for the game. Why? Why do you want, like, it's literally just to make more money off of something you've already sold. Like,
dime, yeah.
Which, whatever, like, you're out to make money, but if you want to make more money, make another thing. Sure. Stop like wringing more money out of me, or trying to, because you're not going to get more money out of me.
No, not you, but there are some people that have that compulsive. They have to
totally understand. And the problem, I think, is that like it's the mobile game disease like creeping into consoles. Like,
you're right,
and it's predatory because there are people like
literally can't help themselves.
That won't be able to not do it. First of all, and secondly, like you've got like kids playing these games now, like that are like, so now they're getting kids on mobile phones, which is already a problem. Like parents are constantly battling like microtransactions on games that their kids play, but now it's going to be happening on a console that's probably already like there's some payment source already tied to it because they have PS Plus.
You're getting the kids used to that idea.
Exactly.
That's how things work, and so when it becomes the way it is, that they don't bat an eye at it.
So like I understand that what I'm saying is like it sounds like I'm expecting companies to have morals, which is not. I don't think that's necessarily a realistic thing. But like just from a consumer standpoint, I don't like companies will do whatever the market will bear. So if people are fine with this and just take this and keep taking this and keep taking this, they're going to keep freaking doing it until like something will break at some point, or it won't, and they'll just keep doing it. So like, I mean, I guess my opinion on this is the same as every time we talked about something like this. Like, if this is the case, like, I really, really like Shadow of Mordor, but if this is the case, I'm probably not going to get this game because I'm not interested. Like Dave was saying, like, I'm not interested in you throwing like stupid, like lazy writing like there's better ways to do loot drops. In first person like RPGs, there's like it's already been done. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with this. Like it's a dumb idea to put loot boxes in a game like this in a first person game or a one player game, single player game, whatever I'm trying to say. Anyway, like I'm not interested in playing a game where like you're always going to be hitting me with like you got a loot box, you could buy more loot boxes. Like,
right?
No, that's completely going to take me out of the story of the game. Not interested in that. So like if this is the case, this is probably a game I'll pass on, and I will probably pass on any single player game where this is the case. This drives me up a wall. I can't stand this stuff.
And it's way different from like Overwatch, where all the loot boxes are purely cosmetic.
Yeah,
it doesn't affect anything. You don't have to spend or buy anything. This one is definitely, there's more than just cosmetics. You get literal XP boosts.
Yeah, like it's literally pay to win.
Yeah, or pay to make the game easier, which is, it just doesn't seem necessary for, especially a game that was so successful the first time.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem that this is something other than
exactly. That's what I was
bringing out more dimes out of people.
That's a good point, and that's something that I was feeling too. Is that they didn't. This game didn't struggle. The first game didn't struggle at all. This isn't a move to like make people re-interested in this game. People are already interested in this. So to me, because of that, knowing that, it seems like a cash grab. It seems like that's all it is. It's just a way to get extra, mainly target those impulse people, impulse buyers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still play the game, but I'm not going to be buying. I don't care about like in the first game that I got, I think about the Game of the Year edition, and it gave me several options I could play as Talion, and even some other characters I could play, or maybe that was my PS4 version. I can't remember which version it was, but anyways, I had some different outfits I could wear for Talion, and some different characters I could play, some different DLC or whatever. But the game itself, the way you leveled up, like it was fun. How it was to me. Like I wasn't hoping, oh man, I hope this is easier. Like it was a challenge of using that, Arkham Batman style combat with swords and all that kind of different stuff, and playing in the Lord of the Rings. Like they built the world so good. The orcs and the Uruk-hai looked so good. Everything the voice acting, the cat voice or motion capture, it all looked so good. I loved that game, and it went right into my love for Lord of the Rings, and I have no doubt that this game will do the same thing. But it does scare me about the game itself when I find out they're also doing stuff like this. Like, when you talk about games that we're delaying this game because we need to polish it and stuff, and
they have delayed this game.
Yeah, here's an example of they're putting this kind of crap in the game. Like what are you spending your time on? Figuring out how to get an extra $2 every 3 days out of some people. Also. Oh, it just seems like
all right.
I wouldn't have had any beef about it, except when you propose the question or pose the question and make me think about it. I get upset because this is a game I'm really much looking forward to, and I don't care about buying that stuff. On it. Yeah, it does. Makes me think less of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to a lighter. We can't. There's no way it could be as detrimental as the past one. What? I have a question for you guys. Simple, plain, easy. Mayo or ketchup?
Mayo.
All right. So there's no context behind this.
Right.
There's no like framework. It's literally just mayo or ketchup.
That's correct.
I'm gonna say mayo as well.
The question changes when you ask all kinds of other questions.
I would also say mayo.
Wow.
So are we going to give our reasons?
Consensus.
3 mayos. Well, the reason I asked the question is this was the Splatfest from Splatoon 2 this past week. You could either choose Team Mayo or Team Ketchup.
Oh.
And, so there you go. There's the context.
Team Mayo.
That's it. Moving on. PUBG. No, that's it. That's all I had. We have no discussion. PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
I've got plenty to say about this if we
save that for our topics cast. I wasn't going to give even any context for the Splatoon. It was just going to be that, but I did. That's for you, Evan. PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. We talked about last week having crossed the highest non-Valve game concurrent players on Steam ever. And guess what? This past week?
Last week it was in the 400,000s, right?
Correct. Okay. And since a week ago, they have crossed over the 500,000 concurrent players.
That's insane.
Second only to Dota 2.
That is insane.
Dota 2 has over 1 million, but this is the highest. I mean, no other game. I mean, it passed up CS:GO.
Yeah, this game is not even really out yet, and it's already passed up
early
CS:GO.
access. It's insane.
That's crazy.
So amazing. This game. The more I watch this game, I found a guy I like to watch. His player name is Stat with a 5 instead of the S. And he does it on Twitch and YouTube, and he's pretty good. He's not the greatest. The reason he's got a big beard, like really like down to here beard, wears tank tops all the times, and he calls his group or his viewers, his community, the Beardos. So if you donate to him, he's got a little beard face that he writes your name on, puts it on the board every day, and he's entertaining. Seems like a pretty cool dude. And he plays Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time every day. For like 4 or 5 hours, he plays PUBG. Sometimes he'll play Battlefield 1. Sometimes he'll play Fortnite. But most of the time is PUBG. And it's entertaining. And the more I watch this game, the more I cannot wait for this to come to the Xbox One. And for listeners, you know that Dave and I both, and partially because of the game sharing, have strayed from Xbox. I was fairly Xbox exclusive and then played only the PS4, Sony exclusive games on PlayStation. That has flip-flopped because of the game share. I play my Xbox exclusives only, like Forza, things like that. When and if PUBG comes out, the Xbox, I'm going to play that game, and if it hooks me as much as just watching it is, I don't know how much I'll play my PlayStation anymore. Because this game, I mean, I am excited to play this game. It looks so much fun.
I feel like we should be getting paid for like a sponsorship or something.
I know. It's so.
I mean, I'm excited for it too, and it's not even coming to my platform. It's not even coming to my console.
It may. I would be surprised if it comes to Xbox.
I feel like it has to, but like not. I mean, there's no announced plans or anything. But like, I'm excited. Right. I'm excited for Xbox users to get this game. Like, I just want to hear what your experiences are. Like, I want to watch your Twitch streams and all that stuff. Yeah, like when you cannot wait.
I feel like watching him, I'm learning things. I don't know if it's true. It probably isn't, but I like watch how he plays. I mean, it probably is to a degree. Yeah. Like where he goes, how he plays, his strategy, and obviously everyone's going to be different. I've watched a couple other guys too, but like there's definite strategy to this game. They've added a first-person mode only, where you have to play entirely in first person, and that's insane. And they're adding new maps here soon. They're doing updates. And they're constantly working on it. Again, it's still in early access, not even officially out. But $30 on Steam. If you haven't checked it out, if you haven't watched a stream of it, just watch one. Just search it. It's like one of the, again, second highest played game on Steam besides Dota 2 right now. You can find someone to watch. Real cool. Cool. Couple more things. Horizon Zero Dawn, Dave.
Yeah.
We talked about this being one of the ones you lost your save for and how this may affect the DLC called The Frozen Wilds is coming out November 7th. We haven't got a price. We haven't got a story details or anything. We just have the date, November 7th for The Frozen Wilds. So I asked you, just contemplating and wondering, being you lost your game save, will you have to play the whole game again in order to be able to play the DLC, or is it going to be standalone?
I don't know necessarily if it'll be standalone, because I don't know how they would fit that into if you didn't play, because it's a story. It's Aloy's story.
Right. Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense unless it was like, you were a little kid the whole time.
Yeah, so you're going to have to play some. You're going to have
that's
to
what I was going to say. I imagine it won't be, or it could be endgame DLC, but I would think they'd want
a level lock.
I think they'd want everyone to be able to be involved in it. So I would think they'd keep it somewhat maybe within the game. Because, I mean...
Yeah, I think
they're coming out...
I think it's an extension.
Yeah, they're coming out with a sequel. So they're not going to, like... I don't think they'll continue the story.
Right. But do you think... I wonder if they'll put, like, in order to access this area of the map...
Right.
Which is the DLC, you have to be level 20 in order to get, like, the enemies are that high that if you just can't get in at level 5.
Yeah, just going by the name, it sounds like what they're going to do is introduce another area to the map that you already have, and it will be obviously like a frozen area, snow area mainly. Because for the most part, the snow, it's just in the very beginning where it's, and not even that's all snow. A lot of the mountains have snow in them. This sounds like it'll be, and they'll put like a storyline within that for side quests and stuff, and a main story objective. But I can't imagine it will be. It might be more about discovering her past, maybe, or something. I can't imagine it'll be moving forward with the narrative. I mean, I don't even know where the narrative would go.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping.
Yeah, Josh hasn't played. Josh hasn't. Have you played the game, Josh? You have.
Yeah. So I think the last time I looked, I was maybe like 20 or 30% of the way through the story.
That's right. Yeah. We've talked about this.
Yeah, so I'm in it. I like it. I actually was contemplating jumping back into it this week, and I just didn't. But I'm just hoping there's like polar bear robots.
Yeah, I have a very bad feeling. I have a very bad feeling that I'm going to have to play X amount again.
That kind of makes sense because otherwise, like if you're a little, like if you're at the beginning and you're still like a little girl and you have this DLC,
definitely have to get to the prologue.
There's no way to bridge that.
The game starts with you as a little girl, so if they're not going to put out DLC that anyone can play this, even if you haven't played the game, because it basically will ruin some of the game.
Yeah,
not the story, but
yeah. Well, we got a date, so that's exciting. This November, lots of things coming out, and then finally, this one's right up Dave's alley as he partook in some of this just moments ago. But Pop-Tarts and Rockstar Drinks are getting some Destiny 2 XP branded food and beverage items. You want this stuff? You want it? You gonna buy it? You gonna get some XP and buy some Pop-Tarts with the Destiny 2 logo on it?
No.
This
is the first box of Pop-Tarts I bought seriously in years.
And you wish it said Destiny 2 on it.
I actually wish I hadn't bought them. I'm just sitting there eating them.
It's so self-loathing.
I know.
I just wish I had bought them.
I know.
This is an aside, but I just bought
great
chocolate peanut butter Twinkies, and
oh wow,
my lord, they're so good. They're so good.
I would eat a Twinkie even longer than I eat a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too, but I've been on the lookout for these ever since I knew they were a thing, and they didn't disappoint. I'll say, like, I feel stuff like this, like branded, freaking, like Mountain Dew did this, I think, with something a while back, and like
Doritos.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty.
Mountain Dew.
Like,
I'll admit, I bought some Mountain Dew and Doritos specifically for double
I
XP.
did too. I did too for that.
I think I hate this. I think I hate this just as much, if not maybe more, than I hate microtransactions in games. Like, this is the epitome.
You're getting something for it.
But still, like you're paying for XP. Like, this is the epitome of like
technically
capitalist, like an unbridled
for drinks and food, and you're getting XP.
Yeah, gamer fuel.
Goodness,
hello.
Like this is the product of an unbridled capitalist society. Like our world cannot be more commercial. Like, we're living in Total Recall right now with stuff like this. I hate it so much. Like, I'm buying a food item and I'm getting a digital product with it. Like, I think I hate this as much as I hate it.
Total Recall, totally.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong, but you know what? I'll probably buy some Pop-Tarts.
I mean, like, if it's stuff you buy anyway, like, I buy Rockstar.
I don't. No, I don't. I haven't bought Pop-Tarts in forever. But
I mean, like, I buy Rockstars every week. Like, I buy at least 2 a week. That's usually
so send me those codes. Average. When you get the Destiny 2 ones, just save those codes.
I mean, yeah, if you guys are if you guys are going to be playing Destiny 2, like, I might as well if it's the same price as the others. Like,
right?
See, up. But I hate that this is a thing. I feel like this to me is the type of thing like when they put Christmas decorations out before Halloween is over. Like,
Yeah. No.
it's
Yeah.
like it's that same idea. Like, it just feels kind of gross.
Pushing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, if you'd like to enter into win a PlayStation 4, all you have to give us is $1 a month for the next 4 months, and you, yes, you, could win a free PlayStation 4.
To be fair, that's different because the value prop is way skewed.
Because you're giving us money because you want us to succeed, and it's an investment.
Yeah.
It's an investment in people. All right, that's all the news we have for this week. We're going to tighten up and finish the end of this podcast here with just a couple more things. First off, we got some new releases, some decent games here coming out this week. One of you want to go through it real quick? I have no preference. Whoever wants to, just go.
I'm going to say on August 8th, Dave, me, is the one talking. Because you haven't learned my voice in over 129 episodes. For the PC, PS4, and Xbox One is Mega Man Legacy Collection 2.
So excited.
I have some good news. Now, OG Patreon supporter Evan Steele won't like this because he doesn't like when we say anyone else's name that does any other podcast because he thinks that we shouldn't promote or talk about anyone else's podcast because all of our listeners might go over there and we'd lose all of our listeners, all of them.
Oh, no.
So Evan.
Then why are you doing this?
I'm sorry about this.
What? This seems like a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea.
Said.
I don't know. I don't know how I was going to describe him, but someone that I follow on Twitter, and also you guys follow on Twitter, his name is Colin Moriarty. He recently left the gaming industry to go talk about politics and history, but he has also recently announced that he's going to start a separate podcast and talk about just random topics. A lot of his listeners are wanting him to do this, and he's going back to talk about video games for some of them. And today I just saw a tweet as we were doing this show that said, I have to do it, fam. And it's a picture of him buying Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. He actually pre-ordered it, which is something he was against doing.
He's against pre-ordering.
But he's also one of the biggest Mega Man fans out there. And so it was a picture of the countdown of the Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 on his PS4 dash.
So Josh, does this one have Mega Man X? That's your game, right?
I would assume it would if it's because the first one was 1 through 6. So I would assume this one would have Mega Man X in it. I don't know. This is actually the first because
that's your game. That's your jam, right? Like Mega Man X, that's your jam when it comes to Mega Man, correct?
I really like Mega Man X. Like I think I mentioned this the last time we were talking about this, but the game that I was thinking of for the longest time was actually Mega Man 6.
Okay.
But yeah, Mega Man X was one that I also played heavily. I think that's why I got them confused.
Gotcha.
This is actually the first I'm hearing of this collection. I didn't even know this was coming out.
I don't know. It may not have talked about that at all.
If let's see, 4 in 1, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it doesn't look like.
Or is 10 not X? 10
I think
X
is X is a different thing.
Oh well, forget that then.
Yeah.
What else we got, Dave?
We also have on August 8th for the PC and the PS4, Cat Quest.
Oh my!
For all you cat lovers out there.
Yeah.
Well, this whole episode was worth it just for people to know that Cat Quest is coming out.
No, I will say on August 8th, actually all these games are on August 8th, so I'm going to stop saying August 8th. But for the PC and the PS4, another game that's coming out that I just recently have seen some advertising for. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty interesting. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Now, have you guys watched any video or footage of this?
No.
It looked. Now, I only saw a little bit of it because I have very bad internet connection and the video wouldn't buffer correctly. So, but what I saw, was something that it looked similar to Horizon Zero Dawn as far as the art style and the gameplay. It appeared to be, again, I got very little information because of how short I watched it. It appeared to be a woman in like primitive looking clothes, and she was in a snowy area, and it had to do with like with runes and protected gateways to hell, and different types of where she had to go look around in this. I don't know what word I'm looking for. It was very like not cultish maybe, but very like dark magic looking, and to where she had to find these different symbols to open this door. And when she opened this door, she like it almost looked like she went to a version of hell. It was like a version of that world, but it was all on fire. And she was trying to escape through it, and there was things that were attacking her. And but that's all I saw. But the game looked really good graphically and visually.
Yeah, it's made by Ninja Theory, who made Heavenly Sword back in 2007, and this one is Hellblade. It's not a sequel, quote unquote, but obviously the same company, same group of people making something that's very similar. So
I've played Heavenly Sword. I actually have that on my PC.
Yeah, so Heavenly Sword, Hellblade. I mean, it's kind of.
It looks good. I just looked at that video. It looks cool.
Also, that game that we've been talking about from Cliff Bleszinski, PC and PS4, Lawbreakers, will be out Tuesday.
Lawbreakers.
Last but not least, for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC, is Batman: The Enemy Within Episode 1, which is the next season of Telltale Games. Batman.
That's right.
Which I still need to finish, but every time I've tried to play it, it's been so broken I literally can't play it.
Yeah,
I haven't tried in a while, so maybe it's fine now.
Probably not.
Who knows?
Probably not. Who knows? Who can say? All right. Well, those are the new releases for this week. It's about to ramp up, ladies and gentlemen. As it is here this week, I mean, Lawbreakers is a big game. Cliff Bleszinski's no slouch when it comes to making games. We'll see how this goes. So, get ready, hold on to your butts, as is known to be said when things are coming. Raptors, games, King Kong. Either way, did you guys watch Kong of Skull Island?
I did.
Not yet.
I don't appreciate the bad reviews. I liked it actually.
It was all right. It was good. It was good. He says that in that movie too. So,
yeah, I know. I did recognize that.
That was the connection. All right. Well, let's move into the final segment of the evening. We've missed quite a few of these for various reasons, but that is Game Scoops. 20 questions.
Scoop!
Your neighbor's going to be pissed at you.
Let's wait and see what happens.
Let's wait and see what happens. What you just did that? I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Dave's week. He has chosen the game. I don't have a pen or paper, so I can't keep track like I usually do.
So I left a note on the outline a couple weeks ago when
yeah, we read it.
And I'm assuming I'm assuming that it's definitely the same game because we didn't.
Don't do it. Don't make questions. You broke our streak.
So
we had won so many in a row, and I said it, and Dave's like, "Nope, you broke the streak."
I already know that the game is Superman 64, so we can just wrap this up right now and be done. All right, my first question, Dave, is so the character that you play as in this game, I'm assuming that you play as a character in order to ask this question. I'm just making that assumption. The character that you play as, do you speak audibly?
No.
It's a long way to go for that, Josh.
Well, now we know.
All right, did this game... Oh, see, it's been so long. We had worked out and we had discussed like a better way to whittle things down, and I cannot recall what that was again. But avoided the years.
I think we decided. Yeah, we decided instead of like basing it on years, we decided to base it on like generations. Because we were doing like 2000, but like some of the generations bridge the gap between like decades.
Okay. So, Dave, did this game come out on the last generation, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the Wii console generation? No.
Okay. Is there See, I'm like trying to jump to all the weird questions
No,
right
really?
now,
Not
and
you.
no,
You'd never.
usually I just throw out the one, and then I like.
Yeah, but now you
I'm
just
very
got to have a
systematic.
couple more. All right.
Now I really want to do it, but I'm not going to do it.
I mean, go for it.
Okay, Dave, is there couch co-op in this game?
No, there's
Okay.
not.
Okay. Is this a current gen game? A Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Switch?
No.
Going old school.
Okay, so it could be
With no couch co-op. See, that's helpful, actually.
super old school, or it could just be like
Not as old school.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like the dates would have worked out better in this situation.
well, you win some, you lose some. You try some
Right,
things
fair.
out, maybe they don't work. All right. Is this? See, I was gonna ask console exclusive. Like, isn't it first party? But I feel like asking that before we've narrowed it down to a generation may be counterproductive. Dave, did this game come out on the PlayStation 2 Xbox generation?
No.
Okay.
Chad,
Oh,
I lost count. Where are we at?
That was 5.
5. Okay.
Okay. Did this come out on the SNES generation?
Yes.
Okay, there we
Hey, all right.
go. Question 6.
Cooking with gas. All right. Okay. So since it came out on that generation, we can probably safely assume that it was either like Nintendo or Sega.
Right, and I would venture to guess it's probably at least playable on the SNES, if not other consoles as well, but definitely playable on the SNES.
Right. Okay. So is this game based on a licensed property?
No.
All right.
Is this game part of a franchise?
Yes.
Woohoo! All right. So original IP that is a franchise. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. Is this okay? Do you ever kill anything in this game? Do you kill enemies in this game?
I would say no, but I feel like I can't answer this without either leading you astray or giving you a hint. So obviously, I would lean towards giving you a hint, which would be you defeat things. I wouldn't say you kill them.
Okay.
You defeat them, not necessarily kill them. All right. So, is this game a Nintendo property, Dave?
Yes.
Ooh.
So when he said defeat them, and now that I know it's Nintendo, I think like a Punch Out, where you're defeating enemies, but you're not killing them.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's the first thing I think of.
You don't necessarily kill things in Mario. I guess you do.
Well, yeah,
You do.
yeah.
Those
Let's
little
see,
Koopas they're done. They're not living.
Yeah, and the Goombas, they're flat as pancakes.
Yeah.
Nothing comes back from that.
You're like tearing turtles out of their shells, and
Yeah.
you're
Gosh, you make it sound so violent. Tearing
Well,
turtles out of their shells.
Look,
Yeah.
Mario, if you think about it, is kind of the Christopher Columbus of the video game world. He went to a
Indigenous
whole other
species don't
world,
stand a
and he
chance.
just started annihilating and massacring
Myrtleizing
all
them.
kinds of.
Yeah, but if you remember, in just about every Mario game you play, after you, as you say, kill things, like if you go backwards, they a lot of times will appear again, meaning they're not dead.
It's just more of them.
Wait a minute.
I mean, they were there first.
is he hinting or trying to lead us a direction?
Okay, so is this a Mario game?
Yes. That's 10.
That's 10. So it is a Mario game. All right. Wow. This is highly unexpected. Dave, does this okay. I mean, it'd be dumb to... Well, okay, Josh. I was going to say, does this Mario game have a number attached to it? But were there any... I mean, there were Mario games that didn't have numbers on them. There's Mario RPG.
I think after the NES, they stopped putting numbers on it.
You're right.
Until Mario 64.
You're correct. So that would be a very bad question. I'm glad we talked this out. Is this particular...
Unless it's a Mario Party 8. Or like Mario Party game, because there's like 8 of those.
Do you ride Yoshi in this Mario game, Dave?
Do you ride Yoshi?
Does Mario ride Yoshi in this game?
Yes, Mario does ride Yoshi in this game.
I feel like that was an important nuance, but I can't figure out why.
Well, I'm thinking the character you play as, which was Mario. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just he wanted me to be very specific. So what games does Mario ride Yoshi on? I mean, obviously I think Super Mario World.
Mario World.
Like Mario RPG, did you ever ride Yoshi? I don't remember if you ever... I don't think you ever rode Yoshi.
I don't remember riding Yoshi.
Mario Kart, Yoshi rides carts. No one's riding him.
Unless there's a Yoshi Kart? I don't feel like there was, though.
No, not in that one. I know there is in this one.
Yeah, not in
and
Super
the new one. Like Yoshi's Cookie, or the Super Mario World 2, which is Yoshi's Island, not Yoshi's Cookie. That was with Baby Mario.
Right. Would there be like any of those Mario games, like RPG, for instance? Like, would there be like any short little cutscenes where Mario's like riding Yoshi?
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing. I'm leaning towards we should try to eliminate World or confirm Super Mario World, and then go from there.
That's true. Okay. All right, Dave. In this game, does Mario ever wear a cape?
No.
What?
Okay.
You sneaky devil, you little sneaky sneakster. This Dave man, sneaky man. All right. Okay. Man, shoot. Is Mario a baby in this game, Dave?
Yes.
It's Super Mario World 2.
Aha!
Yoshi's Island has to be, because there's no other game that he's a baby.
You sure?
No, I can't. I mean, 100% confidence, no, but pretty sure.
I don't think I played Yoshi's Island.
Oh, it was all right, but Mario cried, and I mean, it was the most annoying baby. If he got away from Yoshi, he'd like float in this bubble, and he'd just go wah 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 the entire time until you went and got him again. No. It was the worst part of that game.
Okay.
And you played as Yoshi.
Does Mario cry in a bubble in this game, Dave?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Dave, is this Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island?
Yes, it is, Chad.
Yeah.
Now, a couple things about this game. Number one, I thought it was interesting how you guys had your little talk and decided to rule out any numbers in the games, but
there's a number in the game.
The whole time Chad knew about Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
I don't think I played that, so I'm not sure I was aware that there was a number in it.
Also, that's why I said, do you ride Yoshi? Because you're Yoshi in this game. Mario does ride Yoshi in this game.
He does, right?
But you don't as the player. You are Yoshi.
Right.
And then as far as killing things, Yoshi swallows things but spits it back out. And I mean, to me,
are they spit out in this way that they were swallowed though, or is something missing? Like when he swallows a turtle shell in World, anyway, he spits out the shell. No turtle.
Well, the
turtle's gone.
I mean, he's definitely eating that turtle.
The turtle could be sunk into a shell, hiding.
I guess that's possible.
You jump on the turtles, you don't kill the turtles; they go in their shell.
But in that game, they pop out. When you jump on the turtles, they pop out of their shell. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you don't kill them in that game either. Then I mean, I just didn't know about the killing versus the
fair. No, that's fair.
And stuff like that. I mean, Bowser does fall into a pit of lava in the very first.
Yeah, I'd say lava's some
Yeah,
of
he
them.
comes back in every game. So Mario,
Yeah.
or Bowser's
Right.
definitely
I
not
mean,
dying.
I just didn't want to think of it as the way you think of killing, like with a gun, shooting things and blowing their heads off. And stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
And then there was one other thing I was going to mention that you guys. It was funny that you guys hadn't, because Chad got it like 3-4 questions before. He said Yoshi's Cookie, which that is a game.
I think it's a Game Boy game. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
it is
Game
a
Boy
game.
game, I believe.
But yeah, this came out in 1995, October 4th, 1995. It's a platformer, single player, no couch co-op. And obviously it's first party and everything. And it is in the Mario franchise. And it's a sequel to Super Mario World 2, but at the same time it's labeled as a prequel, obviously because Mario's a baby, to the Mario franchise. So it's weird. It's weird. It's in the Mario franchise, prequel to the Mario franchise, and it's Super Mario World 2.
Seems like the number shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's weird.
Should be like 0.5 or something.
Sure. 0.
Yeah.
Well, good game.
I remember Baby Mario. I was going to say, this is what I was going to ask. In the Super Mario versions of Mario Kart, that was before we had Baby Mario driving karts?
Yes. Yeah. He didn't show up till 7, I think. Which is a DS game. I'm not 100% on that. He may have been in 64 Double Dash.
This was also playable on Game Boy Advance, but never got to that point.
Yeah. Good game. Good choice. Would not have seen that coming. You did good. Welcome back. A win, a tick in the win column for us.
Woo.
Back to it.
Back to one.
Back to one after Josh lost it for us 2 weeks
Look,
ago.
I feel like I was at least super close with.
It's hard to say.
64.
Who can know?
I just
sure, fair. Dave can know, and that's it. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode number 129. Thanks, as always, for listening. Remember, we are part of the SiouxEmpire.com podcast family. Go check that out if you'd like to see other South Dakota podcasts. And as always, we are the number 1 top-rated best podcast on the internet. Thanks to you.
According to the papers that Chad read.
I rustled them. I can do it again if you want, but I think you take my word for it. Best. Gonna edit that out. Best podcast ever. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Yes. Peace. What I meant to say, folks, was
gosh. I actually thought it was internet froze for a minute. I'm like, oh great, we're getting no pizza.
I wanted to say, I messed it up, but I meant to say, have less than 1 megabyte of piece of pizza. I still said it wrong. Have less than 1 megabyte of a piece of pizza.
Nailed it. It's going to be the first time as far as anyone else knows. Bye, YouTube. See what you get, YouTube. When you come here, you get the unedited version of
Good stuff.
Dave Man.
Is anyone here?
No.